We're going to be discussing AR payments. From the Transaction tab, we select AR payments. We have three types of payments. We have a customer payment, batch payments, when you have one corporation paying for multiple customers who may be franchise owners, and we've set them up in our system as individual customers, but one check can pay multiple customer balances. And then we have the AR Payment Center. So let's start with customer payment. The green flag means that the customer has a balance due. The flags will change colors. When they're past due, they'll turn red. So let's start with Bay West. We'll highlight that customer and hit select. Now over here in this panel here, this tells us information about that customer. Their credit limit is $10,000. They currently have open charges of $26.6302. They have no open credits, and this is the amount that is owed at this time. So let's go ahead and say select, and we have the AR payment screen. Now we can hit the auto pay since there's only going to be one invoice that's outstanding, and we're not going to select from which invoices that the customer wants to pay. We have an advance pay where we're going to take money from the customer without an invoice, and then that will show as an open credit. And if an invoice never can be collected, the guy goes out of business, refuses to pay, we can mark something as uncollectible. So in this case here, I'm going to select on this line item, I'm going to say enter a payment. And that will put in that dollar amount, or I can change it and pay less. So if he short pays me like $1,500 only, I can accept that $1,500 and have a balance on his account. So if I take tender, it's letting me know that I am going to be on this date. This was his due date, and I'm going to be taking his $1,500. How is he paying me? He's going to pay me with a check. So double-clicking that line will allow me to select the $1,500, or I could have selected balance when this line is highlighted. If he has credit cards on file with us, we could utilize the credit card. If he had American Express on file with us, we could use that. It would give us a list of the credit cards that were on file, and we can select that credit card. If he had a gift certificate on part of the payment, we can also select gift certificate and then pay the balance with another type of tender. So if we say OK here, it'll ask what is the check number. And if you have the ability to scan with your magnetic reader a barcode that's on a driver's license, you can scan that and we will retain that driver's license information. If not, you could just type in the driver's license or just skip it altogether. If you want to print a receipt, we could say yes. We'll preview one. And I'll bring that one over for you. And this would be a receipt that we could give the customer or email it back to him if they sent the payment in, if they do in fact want copies of their payment receipts. Yes, if I want to select a customer, and I'm going to say no. So that was the first and most common way to take payments. We also, as I mentioned, have batch payments. This is where we put in from one corporate entity like Olive Garden. We could select $25,000 and put the check number in, and then put all the invoices that are on the check stub. We don't have to know what customers they apply to. Just put the invoice numbers in and it'll find the customers and apply that portion of the check to that open invoice. If they're only paying part of an open invoice, you'll put a comma and then the dollar amount that they're paying. Once you have all that done, you can click Process, and then that will then pay all the individual franchisees' invoices that belong to this corporate customer. The third method is the AR Payment Center. And in the AR Payment Center, we have a thing called Backpay. This is the ability for us to put in, let's say we receive 10 checks in the mail. So we would put number of checks 10, and we'd run a total with our calculator of the total amount of the checks. And this will let us know that we've allocated all the money that was on that tape. So we would put in what the account number is, and the check number, the check amount, and it would bring up all the individual invoices that were outstanding. Once we select which ones we're paying, and it then zeroes out the amount for this particular customer, it'll be moved over to the batch list. So this is a way for us to then say process, and it'll go out and make the payments on everybody's detail customer screen. Another method that really is helpful is the reverse transaction. If for some reason we applied a check to the wrong customer, we can come here into the AR Payment Center, highlight that, and it will reverse it and put it back as an open invoice. And then we would allow us to reallocate that money to the proper customer's account. So you would hit the reverse highlighted. And payment history is just a window if we wish to look at some activity that we're doing in that batch.